Yo, yo, what's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Welcome to episode 18 of Philosophonics. So happy, as usual, to be here with you all this evening on the World Wide Web. Coming to you live from Texas, Tejas, the friend state. And I hope to be a friend to you always. Love you guys. And tonight is going to be synthesis part 2. So we'll just kind of continue on from some topics that we've been talking about in regards to DNA and how it is constructed and some other things. So just kind of covering a broad range, sort of the tip of the iceberg of a lot of different things in order to try and put some stuff together. So hope you guys are doing well and that you are having a lovely, lovely week and you had a good Memorial Day weekend. Thank you to all of those that are in service or have been in service and given the ultimate sacrifice for all of us. We appreciate you. All right, I'm going to play 3 originals for you guys tonight. You know the drill, you know the flow. I'm going to play some originals and then we got the chat and then some covers and then the meditation. Then we ended out that way. So yeah. Hop on board and here we go. Here goes some originals for you all. All the people in the fancy apartments. That's lovely, lovely. Pay the bills and they mow the lawn. Lovely, lovely. And while they brush the teeth with their pajamas on, oh, lovely, lovely. Then one day we'll know. Then one day we'll grow. Oh, oh. Then one day we'll know. Then one day we'll grow. All the people in their fancy apartments are not so lovely, lovely. While they pay the bills and they mow the lawn, we're busy being lovely, lovely. And while they brush their teeth with their pajamas on, we are busy being lovely, lovely. Oh, then one day we'll know. Then one day we'll grow. Oh, oh, then one day we'll know. you guys, that was called Lovely, and this one's called Amen. So what about the man with the satisfied mind? People move past him, they didn't have time. The worms inside my body soon after I'm dead make a better earth and make the soil rich instead. We are all wanderers, wandering on the way, wandering up and down, wondering how to pray. Cause there must be light somewhere, not even darkness can hide the fire that's in our hearts. And it's a light we share. It's in the hands of a child and the face of who we are. All matter is energy condensed into slow waves, and we are all one consciousness, as Bill has been known to say. You see, we're experiencing ourselves subjectively each day, right. I think this is one of Gina's favorite songs. I know she's been having two stuff, so I'm playing this for you tonight, Gina. All right, you guys, time to get started. I gotta get some more water. Hold up. Forget that I'm attached to these headphones. I tried to get a longer cord, but um the quality was affected by my long auxiliary cable, so I went back to the shorty. All right. To the chat tonight. I am very excited to continue on this journey of things that we've been talking about. So, the human genome is something that I said we were going to talk about tonight, which we are going to. And last week we kind of talked about DNA and how DNA was constructed and that it does have its own frequencies um, for the overall DNA and then also the atomic components that are involved in the DNA. Everything's got its frequency that it vibrates at. And so we're going to zoom out a little bit tonight from the DNA strand. It's funny. Sometimes I think about, good Lord, like if you would have asked me in January if I'd been like sitting here chatting it up about DNA strands and how they're made and that, I don't think I would have thought we would have come to this place exactly. But yet here we are. So that's what's been really cool about this stream is it just kind of like flows in the direction organically that it is. So tonight we're talking about the human genome. And I'm going to start off with a definition that comes from the National Human Genome Research Institute because I've been really digging quoting these actual definitions from respected entities because I think it's the clearest way to sort of start out with what something is. So, the human genome or the genome is the entire set of DNA instructions found in a cell. In humans, the genome consists of 23 pairs of chromosomes located in the cell's nucleus, as well as a small chromosome in the cell's mitochondria. A genome contains all the information needed. Let me just say that again. A genome contains all the information needed for an individual to develop and function. All right, so I've got lots of pictures tonight. I'm going to try and be good with keeping them up and down. Genome. All right. The first one is exactly kind of what I just read. So this is showing you a cell in the middle, and the purple part is the nucleus of the cell. Isn't that crazy that atoms and cells have nucleuses? Nuclei, I think I don't know. That sounds better. And so here it's showing you that there are 23 chromosomes in the nucleus, and then there is mitochondrial DNA. So those are two kinds of DNA. Nuclear, which means it's in the nucleus, mitochondrial, which just means that it is in the mitochondria. And then chromosome. If you're wondering what that is, I got a picture for that too. Lots of real high quality images tonight, y'all. I'm rendering it like, I don't know, 180 pixels or something. So apologies for that, but here is our cutie patootie little chromosome, and this is kind of some terms that you might see with the chromosome and the names of things. So it is a string-like doodad, and there is the P arm and the Q arm. That is beyond my real expertise there. That little bit in the middle, there's a thing called the centromere. And then the DNA is kind of like unraveling as a string from the leggy, or excuse me, they call it the arms. I guess it has 4 arms, not 2 arms and 2 legs, chromie. Oh my gosh, I'm out of control. Okay, so that is the chromosome, kind of what it looks like, what showing you that DNA is making up that guy, kind of wrapped around it. And I have one more little image to show you, which I call this the big picture. So, side note, if I have to go in a hurry, it's because there's a tornado coming by my house. We have all kinds of severe weather warnings right now, But I haven't seen any lightning, and I can see out the window there's no tornadoes yet. So we're good to go tonight. Okay, so big picture right here. As you can see, there is our DNA, right? Like the double helix and what we learned about last week, the nucleotides, those little protein guys that match up with each other. How cute. And a gene is a segment of that DNA strand. So that's what a gene is. And to my knowledge, a gene is different amounts, like lengths of segment. Not all of them are the same. Um, Yay. Okay, so Shadow Legacy just said doesn't look like it's gonna hit us. So thank God. We were talking, I was like, man, let me know if there's a tornado coming, and he was like, maybe I won't. And I was like, oh yeah, it would go viral. But I just blew away in the stream tonight. It would be epic, right? I'd be like dun, 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 dun. I could sing all of the Wizard of Oz while it was happening. So yeah, boom, there's our chromies. I'm just gonna call them chromies because I like saying that. And it's attached to that DNA, blah blah blah, inside the cell, inside of the ambiguous human. That human's the color of silly putty. Cool. Okay, so when we talk about the human genome, what we're talking about is tides, right? One rung of the ladder. The human genome is 3 billion of those approximately in length. Now, it's very approximate, but that's how long that business is. And so that's a lot. That's a lot of AG T's, and I think the other letter was C. Don't get famous that way. You got it, Julie. No tornadoes. No tornadoes. Not today, Satan. And so, anyways, 3 billion of those little rungs of the ladder is clearly a lot. It's a lot for me to process, like 100,000 of something, or even 50,000, but 3 billion of those rungs of the ladder is a lot. Because it was a lot, scientists were like, well, shoot, it is going to be real hard to figure out all of those and map the human genome. And so what did they do? Because they were such great people and scientists are cool like this, they made a worldwide project called the Human Genome Project. And they all worked together from 1990, folks, 1990 until 2003. So it took them, let me try and do the math, 90 to 2000 is 10 plus 3, 13 years. The whole world of scientists working on this to get this human genome mapped out, which are still not like perfect about it, to be honest. So that definition that I read you earlier from the National Human Genome Research Institute, you can go to their webpage. I'll try and put a link when I do the rebroadcast. But I would like to point out that that is a .gov site. That is a government project, worldwide kind of project, but still .gov site. So just FYI on that one. And yeah, they generated the first thing in 2003. If you the image, okay, big picture, time to take it off. Ooh, who's winning? I am, because I remember the picture. So yes, the human genome took them 13 years. They got the 3 billion mapped out essentially, and you can go to their webpage and see. There's like some great infographics on all of this, but really on the timeline of how long it took them and how they progressed to get that bad boy mapped out. But they did. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of take a little side caveat for a moment. Because we're talking about mapping the human genome, and we're about to talk about CRISPR, and we're about to talk about manipulating the human genome. Which, if you think about it, it's a little bit playing creator, and it's a little bit in the scope of what people would consider playing God. So the philosophical side of talking about all this, I do not want to downplay, because it is very, very important. So while changing certain aspects of the DNA can be helpful, right? So we can like cure diseases and even do things like maybe reverse aging. It can also be used, this information and this technology, for very, very bad purposes as well. And to like breed a bunny with a human and weird stuff like that, that should not be really probably done ever. Um, yeah, it shouldn't. That kind of weird testing, um, with this kind of stuff, as well as the ability to like custom order a baby, um, that's where things get really kind of into ethical territory. So, in a perfect world, as we discover this technology, we would only be using it for good. In reality, are people all going to be using it for good? No. They're going to be using it for profit and probably militarize it and all kinds of things that we would prefer not to have happen with this information. Cloning, of course, is a scary notion. So this is kind of the fringe of science meets ethics, and where should we stop? Where is okay to mess with in our human genome, and what should we probably just stay out of? So I think there's some clear black and white on all of that. There's definitely some gray area, like should you be allowed to give your kid red hair or a certain hair color? Changing their skin color, that gets really crazy. Things like that. So I am taking the time to just kind of like point those things out before I get too heavy into all of this, because I know that it's controversial. The Human Genome Project was already controversial, and now that we are kind of progressing as a species with this information, it is controversial. And so, yeah, I get that. You should know that. You probably already do. Moving on. Let's talk about CRISPR. All right. So we talked kind of heavily last week about DNA, right? Like how it's formed with the nucleotides and the cute little sugar phosphorus outside border around it. And there is something called, so DNA stands for that long thing that I read last week. RNA is another thing that is similar to DNA, but it's not DNA. Okay, so if DNA is like the blueprint, then RNA is like the copy machine or the scanner that takes a section of that blueprint, the DNA, and goes like, oh yeah, I got you. Let me make you some copies so we can pass it out to the other people so that they can then build it like it needs to be built, right? RNA. Okay, RNA gets complicated, but let me first just show this image of DNA versus RNA. Oh, here we go. All right, so this is a pretty bougie looking image. Oh, look, there's that long word, deoxyribonucleic acid and versus ribonucleic acid, RNA. So DNA is a double helix structure, and it has the nucleotides formed together with the hydrogen bonds in the middle, as you can see on the left picture. On the right, we have RNA, which is essentially the structure of half of the double helix, so it would be a helix, and it only has one side of the nucleotide situation. And why is because how it works, this is the bomb.com, is that, remember I said that certain ones of those proteins are attracted to the other ones, right? Well, it only carries the opposite one of what it wants to be. And so it like bonds with that other one. So it's like little magnets, and they're specified out with their different proteins to form many things. Okay, so let me take that image down because I think you can see the difference there. Um, so what is CRISPR doing? CRISPR is actually altering the messenger RNA. So there's several different types of RNA, and it does different things, right? But it's all essentially like a copy machine still, and a messenger. This mRNA, we'll call it, um, is what CRISPR is doing. So it's making a certain section of the gene, making the little RNA bot. It also has at the beginning of that RNA, it tells it where to drive to, and then it drives to that part, and then it does various things based off of what the RNA little proteins are with the DNA, right? So it teaches it either to cut or destroy. It basically leaves a gap, right? It's like if we had a piece of paper, we cut it in half, it cuts out that little part of the DNA and allows us to replace it with other things. So what they're doing with CRISPR is they are able to target certain aspects, go in, cut that out, replace it with a different thing. Pretty cool, right? It's like it's not really nature's duct tape. It's man using nature's duct tape in a weird way. So let me show you a picture of that. So as you can see, first the Cas9 is identifying the target DNA, then it is cutting it out. Then scientists go now edit the gene through DNA deletion, modification, or addition. Okay, and that right there, that process is super controversial because we can change basically the makeup of ourselves. Gotta get that water today. Okay, now see. It says born to sparkle. I got it for my birthday. You guys know I love the glitter. Okay, and I have a note that says super a lot of kinds of RNA. So once again, if you want to get more specific, you can. And I'm going to put a link to a Scientific American article that shows also about the human genome and how they kind of map it, and how they can do that kind of testing with it, which is really cool. That's a whole other thing I could have gone off on, but I just felt like it's better explained by them anyways. So I'll put that link in there. Oh, I'm so thirsty tonight. Hope y'all are happy. Hey, what up, Jamie? I got the cool crew in the house, you guys. Hey, so probably like the week after next for Philosophonics, I'm gonna need y'all to be here because I want to experiment. Everybody get your headphones and we're gonna start trying some stuff. Cause what? Um, yeah, I think after tonight you'll be like, okay, yeah, let's start messing with it. All right, enough water. I had all the water. So last week I showed you guys. I love your human self, Jamie. I love you. Okay. Yes, sweet. Okay, I'm glad you guys, cause like, okay, I will say for sure week after next. So not next week because we gotta finish talking about some of this stuff, but week after next. I think I'll spend the predominant amount of the stream, doing some experimentations for us. And who knows what'll happen? Maybe nothing. Maybe we'll disappear into the ether, which is awesome. Okay, so last week I showed you guys. I always want to put this lovely image of DNA at the atomic level, and if you'll notice, like we talked about last week, we've got on the atomic level, this is it, folks. Hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, and phosphorus. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different atoms making up all of DNA, which to me is pretty cool because, as we talked about last week, we could find that there is a range that we know that human DNA is frequency-wise. There's also a range called the hydrogen line. It's the frequency of hydrogen. All of these other 4 atoms have their own resonance. And this is what I am going to end with on the philosophical level tonight, because I think this is the what? Okay. I'm just going to start blowing y'all up with images. So, this, my friends, is number 1 on the periodic table, hydrogen. That red part in the middle is its nucleus. Nucleus. And the outer part is its electron ring. Now, I tried to find one that was in 3 dimensions because you'll see in a second, but really, it's not like just a line that this electron is just like rotating around, right? It's actually more like a cloud, and it sort of stays in its field as it goes around. It's like I'm staying in this layer of the onion. If there was more electrons, it'd be like y'all guys are staying in the other layers of the onion. Okay, so imagine this, even though it looks slightly 3D, but imagine even more 3D-er, like a ball, okay? I want to talk about something else that we looked at previously. This is my big thing I realized this week. Okay. This is where my brain starts going. And if you'll remember, some of you guys have seen far back when we talked about a harmonograph, and we talked about 2 frequencies and the patterns that they make with phase and the harmonic ratios. And if you'll look right there, the unison is a circle, the octave. Okay, so here's where my brain starts going, is that these patterns are in the atomic level as well, and these patterns can be adjusted and recreated using sound, and I think we're going to be able to connect these patterns and some of the other patterns that we've looked at with the atomic structure and attempt to see what's going on. So, oh yeah, there's one more. Cymatics. Remember this guy too, Julie, the lighters that you got me? Yup, they have that on it. So when I see these kind of images, I start thinking about the atomic structure. Like, I think it's doing this too. And the snowflake stuff we talked about, all of it, y'all, I think these patterns are somehow tied together. And I think that we can start altering certain things. So that was way less cooler than I wanted to like verbalize all of those images together. But if you'll recall, like when I did the balloon thing, right? Like the one little time that we could see it on the camera, I was like hitting frequencies that were doing like 1 loop, right? And then it would like split into 2 loops doing things. And so then today I started thinking about the atomic, the periodic table, and how there's like 1 electron and this many protons and this many neutrons, and how they're moving in that circular field. And then I thought about the DNA structure, that it's made from those certain 5 elements only. So next week, what we're going to do is I'm going to get into actual some math, which I do understand this math, thank God, about the frequency of each of those 5 different. I'm just going to basically look at only the first 5 of the periodic table. And we're going to look at like some pattern synthesis. That'll be synthesis part 3 of all these things. And then we'll be like, oh, yeah, cool. There is the overlap. And then the week after next week, we'll just experiment on ourselves. Beautiful. All right. It's a plan. So thank you all for listening to the chat information. And yeah, I said all the things in my bullet point. So I'm going to play you guys a couple covers tonight. This first one I'm going to play, I hope y'all enjoy. I was looking for songs that were about what I'm talking about, and this one came up, and I had never heard it before, but it's goofy, and it's just funny. So I'll play that one, then a serious one, and then we'll meditate it out. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and it is my pleasure, Jamie. Like I say all the time, like I obviously am not an expert on these things, but it's cool. As I'm coming along, things are becoming clear that other people have come to the same conclusion, or like basically I'm not batshit crazy. So that's good, you know. I really like that, and I love that you guys are here with me and progressing in this way, because I really do think that something's gonna come out of it. If anything, it's a good time for all of us. So love you guys, and here is my goofy cover for y'all tonight.